Draws and fades. Dan on camera. Hello, Dan.
Hello.
I've all dotted up. We've got quad on.
Yeah.
We're going to show you my triggers to hit a draw and a fade, and this will be similar with an iron and a wood, to be honest. And then Dan's going to share his triggers.
My little tricks.
Because I think yours are slightly different to mine, you were saying.
Yeah, there's a slight difference there.
That's the beauty of triggers. And then we'll look at the measured differences, if there is any,
Yeah.
or if it's more just all what's going on in the old trigger box up there.
Just up there. I definitely think there's more going on in your head than my head.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not. Right, here we go. So bear in mind, all my thoughts here are working from zero, path, zero-ish face.
Yeah.
Not that this wouldn't work if you haven't got that, but just to put that out there, I'm naturally, if just hitting a ball, relatively a zero-ish guy.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so your natural swing path is generally around zero.
So I'm trying to move it away from there with
yeah.
these thoughts. So if you're someone who naturally hits 4 from the outside,
Yeah.
my fade thought that I'm going to give you in a second, you probably don't need to even think about because you're doing it.
Yeah.
The draw one I'm going to give you, because I'm 0 and you're starting at -4, you're going to have to do it maybe 4 times more than I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
Feel. We'll show you the real with the measure. I'm going to explain to you what I feel. It's about understanding that they're not the same or are the same, subject to what you bring to the table. And I think that's an interesting point. That's the thing that winds me constantly up with television broadcasting, is they talk always in the real spectrum, where actually when you speak with tour pros, you'll find out that they speak generally with feel. So if you're listening to that thinking, oh, this is what happens, then no, that's what they're feeling. And
Yeah.
that's not going to be relative to what you're feeling, subject to where you start from. But anyway. Right, fade, 7-iron. I'm going to aim face up the left and feet up the left.
Okay.
Because I want my ball starting left, because I want it to move to the right.
Okay.
I am going to stand with my ball slightly more forward in my stance.
Yeah.
So I've moved it maybe up in my stance an inch more than where I would if I was in a straight one.
And reason for that?
Because I want to catch it slightly later on my arc. I want that path going left.
Yeah.
Obviously if I had the ball, say if I was stood here, can you see where my club is to that ball?
Yeah, got it.
To hit from the inside, I'm going to hit my leg. I'm probably going to catch that on the leftward path.
Yeah.
It's an extreme, so I subtly move it to just help that happen. Now this will be an interesting one to measure, because I've not really measured this. I also stand up a little taller.
Okay, reason for that?
So I feel I'm using a little bit of lie.
Okay.
So if my club was lying on the ground this way,
Yeah.
so toe up would be so hard to cut, it's going to draw generally. Where toe down, it's naturally going to fade, because lie is affecting where your face, your loft points.
Yeah.
More toe down, more to the right, more toe up, more to the left.
Yeah.
So that's not me moving the face around this axis.
Purely moving it on the lie.
Correct. And then the other thing was feeling a little bit taller. It feels more like I'm going to come through this way, so my wrists are going to be passive and I'm going to hold off and leave my face open to a path.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm going to aim up left, club up the left, stand a little taller. I'm going to try and turn left with my body and hold off from this slightly taller position. Ooh, slightly toey, might not make a distance, but that was cut in.
Yeah.
So quality of strike, let that down for distance. But if you look at the shot shape here, so if you look at the shot shape, so starting up the left and cutting it back, if I didn't toe it as well, that would have got on the green. So very next shot, I'm going to hit a draw.
Okay.
So I'm going to point the face up the right, feet up the right. I'm now moving the ball a bit more into the middle of my stance. I'm going to push my handle up towards the left leg a little bit more than I would maybe with the fade shot. And that feels like I've just pushed the face a fraction more to the right.
Yep.
And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and slide, not turn into it like I did with the fade.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to start back down a bit more slouched, almost down in my posture. Try and get the handle a bit lower, again to make sure that face will be left of the path. A nice strike, that's drawing back. So loads further because it's a better hit. Don't worry.
Oh no.
Oh.
That would have been embarrassing.
That was impressive, wasn't it, Ray? So if we look at deliveries, I'm a little bit more down on the fade than I was the draw, but not much. I'm 5 out to in on the fade, 9 into out on the draw. face was 4 open to 4 closed,
Yeah.
from face with drawing to fading, face to path. And then the loft was very different, 31 to 26.
Yeah.
Draws and fade go the same distance, but if you don't deliver the same lofts, then they won't go the same distance. So the tendency is with the draw that a face close to the path will take a little bit of loft off. That doesn't have to be the way. I can hit a draw with the same loft and it'll go exactly the same distance as a fade. Everyone believes a draw goes further than a fade. Again, that's a feel thing. It does for you, but it's not the fact that you're drawing it, it's the product of the lower loft that you're delivering. Thus, through those shapes of shots you can hit. That doesn't have to be the case. All intents and purposes, for all those numbers to be the same, apart from face to path and club path, they would go the same distance. And then look at my lie. I mean, I was toe up 1.3 with my fade, and I was more toed up with my draw.
And that was you feeling as though you were standing taller or
Yeah.
squatting down.
So if I was going to hit a massive cut like round trees, I'd get right up here.
Yeah.
I'd never stand down.
And is that you standing slightly closer to the ball?
Yeah, and basically, I wouldn't even be able to articulate that.
No, okay.
So I'm using lie, setup, ball position, feelings in turns, so more turn to less turn. And if I was to measure my turn in my body, I don't think it would be that dissimilar. It just feels with the draw like I hit the ball and then turn afterwards.
Yeah.
It wouldn't look like that on a screen. The actual numbers, you're moving them quite. I can make them more subtle if I want as well.
Yeah.
So how much I feel I'm turning them on. Simple triggers for moving it. I think a lot of you probably aren't thinking about lie though with that one. Fade please, damn, 7 iron.
Okay.
To me.
So I do pretty much what you're talking about there. So my first setup is getting the club face to feel like it's just slightly left of target, and then I get my feet to aim just again further left of the target, depending on how much movement I want to get. But again, I move the ball position slightly further forward, exactly the same as what you were trying to do, trying to get that club to work more left as it comes through.
Yeah.
I don't get the feeling of standing more upright or trying to use lie. That's not something that's going through my head.
Yeah.
But I'm a natural sort of drawer of the ball. And what I do to try and make sure that club face stays kind of, it feels like it doesn't want to release too much as it comes through as a natural reaction for me, is I just feel like I push this thumb slightly more down the grip.
Okay, so you may have a longer left thumb.
Longer
grip.
left thumb. What that does is if you push against your arm here and push that thumb down, it kind of tenses up this muscle on the forearm here, and that just feels then I can't, almost feel like I can't let the club won't release too much through impact. So I feel like I can hold the face open a little bit more just to make sure it stays coming back to the right hand side.
Good shot. Very subtle cut. So I would say the fade for you is the harder shot.
It's the shot I'm always trying to hit, because historically I've always shaped the ball right to left. So just for me to try and hold it up, I feel like I got maybe a bit more control over that.
So the red line's yours there. I don't know if you can see that. So you can see it's definitely just falling down to the right.
So spin axis there was 2.5 to the right.
Draw then, because maybe your natural shot. Are you doing anything?
Not really. Again, I just purely feel I possibly just drift that ball position slightly further back.
Okay.
And I'm talking that much. So ball position moves slightly further back. And then I will just literally stand normal. I won't try and change anything. My grip is in its neutral, natural position.
Yeah.
And then it's just ball position slightly further back and then swing it as normal as I can.
Yeah, that's drawing onto the left side. We'll look at the numbers on those two in a second. What's interesting there for me, again, is that we're both working in our patterns to the equation. I'm a 0, so I'm moving both sides of that.
Yeah.
You're more of an into-out face close to a path, so when it comes to the draw, you're not really doing anything different.
No.
When it comes to the fade, you're working a bit harder.
Yeah.
Every draw and fade video that you could ever watch is all great, but you've got to think about where do you start from? What's your starting point to see how relevant that is to you or not. So 22 degrees loft delivered for Dan with the draw to 27.
With the fade, yeah.
His lie's not changing.
No.
That moment.
That's pretty much the same.
Closed your, what are you there,
Draw
5?
is
Closed
closing.
1 open.
Yeah.
What's interesting is look at mine. Mine much more even at 4 apiece.
But you can see there from me, I like to hit this top shot more. So I like to hit that fade a lot more than I do the draw,
because I feel like I can control that more.
Yeah.
And you can see it from my face to path how much movement there is. There's, you know, this is going to move that golf ball an awful lot, whereas this is going to stay nice and quiet, really, isn't it?
Yeah, because the path went six into out from 3.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting as well, though, is, and this is again where your starting point is, I was 4 and 4, open 4, closed with the face.
Yeah.
You're heavily biased towards the drawing and struggling to open, not struggling, but, you know, because it was a nice shot, but you're not as evenly balanced from one side to the next.
Yeah.
It's kind of forehand, backhand stuff in tennis.
Yes.
It's those kind of ideas.
Yeah.
Are you a drawer or a fader is exactly the same. You know, you get someone with a weak backhand, you just keep hitting towards it, don't you? Because you exploit it. You know, if I was building a course to harm you, I would make you fade every tee shot.
Yeah.
You would kind of hate that.
Yeah.
Lose you distance because you're delivered.
Yeah.
Lofts and what have you. And you have to work a bit harder. Interesting how subtle we're being to try and move those numbers. Because I get it in lessons. People say, I want to hit a draw. Go on then, show me your draw, and they fade it. And you start seeing like, I've got to get from the inside. It's like, no, that's just going to change the lie angle that you're struggling to deliver or understand already. I mean, I'm moving path by 14 degrees in quite subtle ways, and I'm not thinking like one's here and one's here at all. I'm actually doing almost the same arc with my club. All I'm doing is I'm slightly tilting one that way and one slightly that way. I'm not feeling like I'm having to like chop or hook. Bear in mind we're talking about what, 5 yards of curvature, maybe 10 yards of curvature at the moment, when you have to start bending it round trees. You know, if I'm going to start hitting massive hooks, that's when I start employing grip, extreme stances, wrist angles will change, trying to put twists in clubs, those kind of things. So if I'm going to hit like just massive curvatures, you look at that one going. But I'm seeing people try to do that when they're trying to make just gentle draws. You'll be amazed how much you can move by finding some triggers. Your grip, both of us set up ball position.
Yeah.
You did feel like you were turning more with a fade or not?
It's not a conscious thing for me.
Yeah, so for me it is.
For you it is.
Yeah, so you're literally using that thumb to get the feeling I'm getting here, aren't you?
Yeah.
Get on the range, find your triggers, and find your patterns with those triggers. It's the patterns. Does that make sense? Dan had already said when he goes for that draw, feels like it can overdraw. That's patterns. That's him hitting lots of overdraws and taking note of that. It scares him, so it makes him hit another shot. He ain't trying to find perfect, he's trying to find functional, gameable patterns. Post comments down below, let me know if you've got any triggers that help you shape it or not, or you've had no success. Would love to hear, as always, in that comment section down below.